Singapore arrested 3 people. There's been raids over there about an underground network selling NVIDIA chips to China. Singapore's minister said they are unsure if the chips are going to Malaysia and continuing on to China. So that is the route, the concern that they are being rerouted there. Right now, Singapore says that some of these servers, which are made from Dell and Supermicro, could contain NVIDIA chips. That's the concerning part, that there's an underground network going to China. You bring up 18% of total revenues for fiscal 2025 NVIDIA. In 2024, it was 11%. So that's climbing, and that's raising concerns. Today, Mizuho's analyst Jordan Klein said, should the United States go ahead and block NVIDIA chips to China, that could be anywhere between a $4 and $5 billion hit to NVIDIA's revenue line. This isn't necessarily new news because the sanctions and tariffs are an overhang on the stock, but the arrests in Singapore kind of bring it to light, which is why you're seeing the stock down about 6%. I think I did it in 40 seconds. Back to you, Ryan.
That's super interesting. Michelle, what would you say about the significance of it?
Well, no, I wouldn't be surprised if it's happening, because we see whenever sanctions are imposed on any country for items that they need, there are workarounds. What I'm interested to see really is what the TSMC executives have to say at the White House. I was just with TMC executives last week in Arizona touring the facility, of which they've invested $65 billion, and they're obviously going to commit a lot more. They made clear that a lot of the reasons why one of the key reasons why they are building in the United States is that their customers want them to build in the United States for resiliency when it comes to making sure that if, God forbid, we go to war over Taiwan, where the most advanced semiconductors are produced, that we have some supply here, even though they are not producing the most advanced chips here. And the other thing they made clear was that the subsidies under the CHIPS Act, under Biden, help a lot. They've gotten more than $6 billion. And if the president, who's made clear he hates the CHIPS Act and would rather put tariffs on chips coming in, that they're going to need their customers to help them subsidize production here in the United States, because it is much, much more expensive to produce here, even though there is a national security rationale for doing so.
So, Jordan, do you think NVIDIA shares are down, call it 6% today, because these arrests and this crackdown have people wondering if they'll be able to sell at the same pace going forward if the U.S. kind of gets more restrictive on this front, or do you think there's something else going on here?
Yeah, I mean, let's focus on what's happening. You had a Wall Street Journal article this morning where a source who felt fine going on the record, meaning Mr. James Lowe, which goes to show that he thinks so little of Commerce's enforcement strategy that he thinks this supplier, that it's better for his business to advertise in the Wall Street Journal that he has chips than whatever risk this exposes. So I think this is a great illustration of just how many chips are getting into China. And Singapore bringing this case over a few weeks ago, they see what's happening. They see the Trump administration viewing this as a respect issue, that, Singaporea, Malaysia is playing them, China's playing them, and to a certain extent, NVIDIA and the semiconductor equipment manufacturers have been playing the U.S. government over the past few years, tipping right up to the line, not necessarily really taking it all too seriously, the enforcement of these export controls, because obviously they make more money when Chinese firms through intermediaries are able to buy chips. So I would expect the Trump administration to come really hard down on this, not only the illegal smuggling, but also the sales of NVIDIA chips, which are, basically frontier technology, like the H20 chip, which is a truly excellent piece of hardware, and makes you really question what we're doing in trying to restrict China's access to AI if we're still allowing them to import the best stuff.